Deku would be able to get hurt, but he heals in 30 seconds. He can come back from the dead from any type of injury, even if he gets turns into ash or anything like that. He's going to be immortal, like, he can't die. Now, this is where everything starts now. The day Deku and Inko goes to the hospital to check if Deku has a quirk. The doctor says he has a quirk. The name is Immortality. They test him for a few hours, cutting him a little bit and stabbing him with a small hospital knife. He heals every 30 seconds. And a few days go by, and Deku goes to school. Some of the kids are saying their names and quirks. Deku was the next in line, and the teacher told Deku what his quirk is and what it can do. Deku walks up into the front of the room and says, "My name is Izuku Midoriya, and my quirk is Immortality." And what it does is, well, can I show you all? The teacher looks at, says, "Sure." Deku looks at Bakugo and asks, "Can you help me show it off, Bakugo?" Bakugo yells, "Yeah, sure." Then Bakugo walks up to Deku. Deku then tells Bakugo to grab his hand and explode it, but not clean off. And he said, "Please." Then Bakugo grabs Deku's arm and uses his quirk on Deku. Deku's arm didn't barely have any flesh on it, and he was trying to contain all the pain and torment that he was doing to himself right now. And then 30 seconds went by, and he heals. In shock, everyone is like, "That is a great quirk." A few hours go by before school let out. The school office asked Deku if Deku would go to the teacher's office, and as soon as he got there, his mom was there, crying in tears of sadness. And Inko runs to Deku saying, "I'm sorry, Izuku, I'm sorry. Deku starts to worry and asks what she means by "I'm sorry." Inko looks at Deku and says, "It's your dad. He's dead." Inko starts to cry even more. Deku breaks into tears and runs out of the school, and it starts pouring. Deku running home through the shortcut. All of a sudden, the sludge villain grabs Deku and tries to take over his body. Deku starts to fight and stops because he remembers he can heal. Suddenly a voice says, "I am here." All Might punches the sludge villain and puts the sludge villain in the bottles and grabs Deku. And Deku is knocked out, so All Might looks into Deku's bag, finding a notebook and his address. All Might signs the notebook and takes the villain to the cops and takes Deku home. All Might knocks on the door, and Inko opens it while saying, "You shouldn't have run off like that. I was worried about you. You know, something could have happened to you. Inko realized she was not talking to her son, but All Might, and tells him to come in with Zuko and tells him to put him in his room. They take Deku in his room. Inko says, "Thank you, All Might. Thank you for bringing my son back. I'm severely sorry that you had to take him back home." All Might replies, "It's all in a day's work, miss." As soon as he finishes those words, he went into his small might form. Inko says, in a confused and terrified voice, Are you an imposter? Are you All Might, or are you not? Are you pretending?" Small Might explains what happened to him, and how he got the scar, and how did he turn into a Small Might. Deku wakes up 3 days later. Deku walks out of his room, seeing his mom and a blonde skeleton man talking and laughing in the living room. Deku, in a confused voice, says, "Who is he?" Inko says, "An old friend of mine. He's been helping me take care of you ever since All Might saved you. Oh, and All Might took an autograph, gave you an autograph. There's food in the fridge, by the way." Deku went to the get food, and Small Might asked Deku if he wants to be a hero. Of course, Deku says, I do want to be a hero. I want to be a hero. I know I can." Small Might asks if Deku wants to work out with him to become a hero, like the number one hero, All Might, and tells Deku, "Do you want to work out with me?" Deku is like, "Yes, I want to be like the number one hero, All Might, and I would love to work out with you. So, what's your name?" Small Might says, "We'll get to that eventually." A few years go by, and Small Might tells Deku he's All Might, and starts to buff up, and says, "Young Midoriya, I want to ask out your mom on a date." While Deku is cheering and glad that Small Might is All Might, he says, yes, you can go out with my mom." Then Deku and All Might goes home. All Might goes to the living room and says, "Inko, Midoriya, would you love to go out with me?" She says, yes, I would love to, because you are my hero." A few years go by when the anime begins. Inko and All Might gets married after a few years go by. Before Deku went to school, All Might tells Deku that he can inherit his quirk. Deku says, Inherit? Your quirk? I can inherit your quirk, Dad?" All Might gives Deku a hair, and Deku grabs it and says, "What do I do with this?" All Might says, "You have to eat it, my young Midoriya. To inherit my DNA, you have to digest my DNA." Deku swallows it whole, and All Might tells that tomorrow is the UA test. One day passed by, and Deku tells All Might and Inko that he loves them, and he'll see them in a few hours after the test. So Deku went to UA, and when he gets to the door of UA, he starts to fall. All of a sudden, he starts to float. A young, cute, brown-headed girl says, "I'm sorry, I used my quirk on you without asking. You know it's bad luck if you fall on your face on an important day like this." Deku blushes, and Uraraka walks away. Everything else happens the same like the anime until the robots. 3, 2, 1. Everyone starts to run, and Deku starts to hit robot after robot while using 25% of One for All. All of a sudden, the 0-point robot is summoned, and everyone starts to run, and Deku starts to run away, but here's a girl. He's like, looks into the rubble and sees Uraraka. He runs to the 0-point robot and starts to use 40% and grabs her, takes her a yard away from the 0-point robot, and then Deku runs at 50% of One for All. Deku jumps at the robot. All of a sudden, Deku gets grabbed by the 0-point robot. The 0-point robot throws Deku through 50 buildings. When Deku finally manages to stop, he gets back up and looks down at his feet. He sees his arm missing, and there was blood everywhere. He sees a metal pole lodged into his chest. He pulls it out. While running to the 0-point robot, Deku punches the robot's leg, and then while the robot is falling forward towards Deku punches the body of the robot, and it flies away from Deku. Everyone runs to Deku and asks if he's fine. Deku had another metal pole lodged into his chest, and his heart was. Deku falls down, and the pole went through his front half. Everyone yells for help, but Shoto walks to Deku and pulls it out and says, I saw him he had no arm while ago, and a pole in his chest, so let's see if he can come back to life. All of a sudden, Deku jumps back up and says, "What happened? That hurt." Everyone went back home and got their results. When Deku got home, All Might says, "Let's go out and eat together, because you, son, you have passed both of your tests. And no matter, this is the truth. You have gotten the first place on all of them." Then Inko, All Might, and Deku goes to a restaurant. Besides, All Might has to go fight a villain. When they got there and sits down, someone walks to them and says, "What do you like to have to order?" Deku realizes that voice and tells her, "Thank you for saving me from falling on my face." She blushes. Uraraka says, "No, thank you for saving me from that 0-point robot, from a big robot. And sorry, my name is Uraraka." All Might says, "I am here. Sorry, I'm late, Izuku and Inko." Everyone looks at All Might and yells, "It's All Might! It's All Might!" Inko says, "How long do you have, my dear?" All Might replies, "A few seconds at most, or a minute. I think I'm fine with everyone finding out now because Izuku's close as strong as me and he's my successor. So I'm done saving people for a little while. I can retire." All Might goes back into his Small Might form. Deku says, "Sorry everyone, my dad here is with me, my mom." Small Might says, "Everyone can me and my family celebrate? My son won the day. I'll sign your stuff real fast, but when I get back, I don't want any disturbance because I want to celebrate this day with my son." While Small Might is giving autographs, Deku tells Uraraka, "I'm Zuku Midoriya. Would you like to join?" Inko says, "So this is your girlfriend? You saved her?" Deku and Uraraka blush. Deku says, "Yes, no, she's not my girlfriend, but she is cute though." Uraraka blushes and says, "Izuku, I'd love to join. I just need to clock out. I forgot to tell you that you look handsome today with your suit." Uraraka realizes what she said and blushes. She runs away to check out. Deku blushes and Inko says, "Aww, so when are you and her going to go on a date?" Small Might says, "Yeah, why don't we ask her parents to let you have her hand in marriage?" Deku blushes and Uraraka just come back. She heard what Small Might said and blushes, and Uraraka sits down while saying, "I'd love to call my parents to come here to meet you." Uraraka grabs her phone and calls her parents. A few hours go by, and Uraraka's parents arrive. They talk all about marriage proposal. Deku and Uraraka are going to get married after 2 weeks from now. They all go home. A few days go by. Deku goes to UA. He goes to 1A. He sees Uraraka and waves at her, and she says, she runs to him, she hugs him, and Eraserhead tells them to get outside, and whoever gets in last place is going to get expelled. Deku got first place in everything besides the ball throw. He got second place. Eraserhead tells everyone that they did well, and no one is going to get expelled. Plus, they can be heroes. Time for the battle test arc. Deku and Uraraka went to the building. Deku and Uraraka was more tactical. Bakugo jumps in front of Deku and blows his arm off, clean off. Deku uses 40% of One for All and ties Bakugo up with one hand as fast as he can. Then grabs his arm and goes to the bomb. Deku goes to Ida and makes Ida trip while Uraraka grabs the bomb, and they won. Well, I'm gonna end it off here, so hope you enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe,